Most states, including Florida, are dependent upon the federal government for about 40% of their revenues. And in addition, many states, fortunately Florida not as bad, already have significant liabilities and unfunded obligations per taxpayer that they've kind of come to grips with. Fortunately, Florida only has $2,700 per taxpayer in liabilities and unfunded promises per taxpayer as of about a year ago. About $2,700. You rank number 14. Believe it or not, there are 6 states that actually have positive net worth per taxpayer, Alaska being the best. Unfortunately, I live in Connecticut. Connecticut is a small state of 3.7 million people, so it doesn't make a lot of top 10 lists when you talk about gross unfunded obligations, gross liabilities, but that's not what matters. What matters is how much per taxpayer, not per person, per taxpayer, because not everybody pays taxes, okay? Now, fortunately, Florida is one of the states that doesn't have income taxes. Connecticut used to be one of those states, but we do now, and that was part of the tipping point where we went from being above average in the country to below average. There were several other factors that happened there, too. It wasn't just that factor. But the fact is we've got a situation where we are 50 out of 50, dead last. In addition, Connecticut is the only state in the Union that had negative economic growth last year. In addition, Connecticut is the only state in the Union that has not added one new private sector job since 1990. Not one net new private sector job. And the reason I mention that is because my nonprofit, the Come Back America Initiative, just published this report which benchmarks a lot of states, including Florida. Because basically what we do is we issued it, it's focused on Connecticut, it's called Connecticut at Risk, but what it does is it talks about where we've been, where we are, where we're headed, and how we compare to others. And Florida is one of the 10 states that we use to benchmark against, because after all, you don't just compete with your surrounding states, you compete with every state in the Union. In fact, last week when I was up at the Capitol, South Carolina was up trying to recruit business, and I'm sure Florida would probably either been there or going to be there. And so my point is that we have to keep in mind that whether you're a country, whether you're a state, whether you're a company, whether you're an individual, whether you're a college, it doesn't matter. You need to know how are you doing based upon outcome-based results. Are you getting better or worse? And how do you compare to your peer group or your competitor or comparator group? And if you don't know all those things, you don't know how you're doing.